Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent MAKORI and this is Africa 54. Tonight, a report card on worldwide corruption. Bad news for many countries as citizens' trust in their governments diminish due to bribery and other acts. The group Transparency International says things are only getting worse in many places, including Africa. From London, Henry Ridgwell reports on that corruption survey.
The Global Corruption Barometer 2013 paints a bleak picture. 1 in every 4 people paid a bribe in the last 12 months when accessing public institutions and services, according to Transparency International's report. Robert Barrington is Executive Director.
In terms of bribe paying, there are a couple of countries where 3 in 4 people say they've had to pay bribes in the past year. That's Sierra Leone and Liberia.
Transparency International interviewed 114,000 people in 107 countries and found that more than half believe corruption and bribery has worsened in the last 2 years. Again, Robert Barrington.
Ultimately, our target has to be policymakers because leadership from the top is critical in this. And when you look at the countries that have improved, perhaps Georgia and Rwanda, compared to past surveys, it's generally been politically driven governments that want to do something about corruption that's made the change.
All too often, a leader's drive to tackle corruption fades, says Bertrand de SPEVILLE, who heads an anti-corruption consulting firm that has advised more than 50 governments.
This is a strategy that's going to apply to the whole country and to everybody in it. He suddenly dawns on him that that might affect colleagues, friends, political allies, family, maybe even himself. And time and again, I've seen the light of that political will die while you're talking to him.
In India, in 2011, social activist Anna Hazare gained worldwide fame after leading a hunger strike against corruption.
I
want the poor to get justice. I want the money back that we have lost to corruption.
Hundreds of supporters joined him in the hunger strike, and the government agreed to introduce anti-corruption legislation. But the so-called Lokpal bill has yet to be passed. De SPEVILLE says the poor suffer the most, and bribery must be tackled on every level.
Small incidents of corruption can have disastrous consequences. You only have to think of the fields of security or public health to realize the truth of that. One small bribe can have disastrous consequences.
But, says de SPEVILLE, advice on tackling corruption by institutions such as the World Bank have had little effect.
Given the amount of resources that have been devoted to the problem, in my view, it is little short of scandalous. I don't believe it's that difficult. And indeed, places like Hong Kong and Singapore have demonstrated that it's not that difficult.
Transparency International says those surveyed appeared eager to take on corruption themselves, with more than half of respondents saying they would be willing to report an incident of bribery. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.